Kanal is probably the most love it or hate it kind of map in the game. With old Kanal, I can definitely see why that is. With new Kanal, not so much. I think personally it's an amazing map, one of my favourites. I'm not really sure why this map gets so much hate nowadays. Old Kanal I did still enjoy sometimes, but there were definitely times I didn't like Old Kanal. You kind of just have to be in the mood to play this map. Whether you like this map or not though, I think we can all agree that this map has seen probably the most beneficial rework of them all, right next to Clubhouse. I mean, this map before was so insanely unbalanced, and we'll get to why that was later in the video. Let's get right back into some old Siege nostalgia then, and take a look at the old Kanal. In terms of the attacker spawn locations, none of them have changed, although one of them did slightly change the position on where the players spawn. Sailboats used to actually spawn the players on the dock. I've pretty much always spawned at this spawn location, like every single round, every game, but I don't remember this. In fact, I forgot this dock even existed, to be fair, because why would you ever go on it nowadays? A lot of the props and overall aesthetics of old Kanal was just so much better than the new Kanal. For instance, these boats just look so much better in old Kanal. Another instance of this is this toppled car and sign being replaced by whatever the hell this thing is. A lot of these props and models and stuff in old Kanal just made it look more abandoned, like something went down here. But you don't really get that vibe with the new Kanal anymore. There also used to be a building right on the border of the map here. You couldn't go in it, but it's just not there anymore. It's completely demolished. Like, why? The building wasn't doing any harm being there, was it? Outside this entrance door to the south, there's overall a lot more space to move around now. On the left side used to be a ladder, but that's now been replaced by stairs. Before we do any more checking around the ground level, let's have a look at this little bit on the roof. There never actually used to be a little bridge bit here that connected these two roofs together. I mean, it's not a bridge, it's just the roof was extended or whatever, but you get what I mean. There used to just be a big hole here. It used to be so annoying because you'd have to zip line over the top of the next roof and jump down again. So this was a really good change. The reason we went up here now though, is to show you that there used to actually be a little gap in the wall here, right where this new bridge was added. Well, again, not a bridge, it's just the roof extended, but you know what I mean. There also used to be a drone hole in this little gap that led indoors to the stairs, but this drone hole no longer exists. The east side of the building has also been extended out slightly in the rework, so it's a little bit more narrowed down here now. There aren't really any notable changes worth mentioning over the construction site side of the map, except, you know, the whole friggin' ship being gone. I mean, what were they thinking with removing this? This thing was so cool, and again it just adds to that kind of abandonment, something went down here kind of thing. Now it's just been replaced by some puny submarine. Like, who cares? And that's not even mentioning the creepy ambient noises. Honestly, I know it's just a background asset, but this ship being gone is probably the worst part of this rework. It just looks so bare over here now. One thing in terms of aesthetics that I think the rework actually does do better than the original though, is the colour scheme of the building. I really like this black, red and white kind of look on the outside compared to just the standard grey and white like it used to be. It just looks so appealing. The garage, which used to be called the loading dock, has changed quite a lot, for some reason. I mean, this is such an irrelevant part of the map, to be honest. For a start, the upper platform has been removed. There's also a new entrance now to the north. And the east entrance door used to be barricaded and breakable, but now it's just a standard opening you can walk through. I always felt like this room should really count as an indoor area, but of course with some changes. Because if you didn't know, this still counts as outside. If defenders go out here into this room, they will be detected as outside. If they reverted this room back to how the original one looks, I feel like this room could actually be connected to these stairs here. Make that bit an indoor area, and that would be a new path for defenders to go around. I think it would be pretty cool. Let's head over to the west side. There isn't really that much that's changed over here again, so I'm just going to do a no commentary run of this little bit of area here. Things start getting a little different though when we get to the Lockgate Tunnel, because there's actually a new path now that goes to the south, which heads off towards the sailboats. This path used to be blocked off in the original canal. To be honest, I didn't even know this path existed. It feels kind of pointless, really. Do any of you even use this path? Also, you never used to be able to get on top of this ledge to the west. This whole area was blocked off by a fence originally. This is also where those stairs are that lead down to the tunnel. That's now all of the outside covered, except this north middle part. And the reason I saved this till last is because it's changed a lot. Kinda for the better and kinda for the worse. In the original canal, we used to have this really cool canal area right outside of the kayaks. Unfortunately though, this is completely gone now, and it's really sad because this area was so cool. The reason I say it's for the best though, is because we got the diving room and we've got the diving room alcove that replaced this. I mean, yeah, these two rooms are nowhere near as cool, but they were definitely essential to making the map more balanced. I can't imagine playing on Kanal without these rooms, to be honest. Let's talk about the basement next then. Some of these rooms got their names changed. Boat supplies got renamed to supply room, and boat garage got renamed to kayaks. Kayaks used to have 3 breachable walls on the north side of the room, whereas now it has only 2. In the rework, these walls lead to the diving room, but in the original, they of course led outside, because the diving room never used to exist. The door on the north wall is relatively in the same place as it used to be in the original, where in the original again it led outside rather than to the diving room. However though, in the kayaks, there used to actually be another wall added on to the west. This meant this door was just down a little narrow hallway, which made it really annoying to attack and defend, to be honest. I do kinda miss this boat being in the middle of the room. It just looks so nice. The supply room layout is literally identical, to be honest, but there's a few changes to cover here. First of all, the breachable walls to the east are slightly repositioned. There also used to be a pair of breachable walls on the south wall that led to that back door. This is now just a brick wall that you can't breach at all. And then the hatch used to be more center and south of the room, whereas now it's all the way over in the northwest corner. The pipes room quite literally hasn't changed at all, other than visuals. Although it did used to be called leaking pipes. I mean, technically these pipes are still leaking, so I'm not sure why they changed the name. Now let's move on to the bathroom, and wow, this room especially looks so much nicer in the original. This room also used to be called showers instead of bathroom, I guess because the showers and the bathroom were just merged into one room at the time. There never used to be a door here that you could barricade between the showers corridor and the bathroom. Originally, that door was just pushed back further into the corridor. We all know about this drone hole in the bathroom. We all use it. But, did you know it never actually used to be there? Yep, this just used to be a brick wall in the original. God, it looks so creepy down here with all the flickering lights. I love it. Because the diving room was non-existent in the original, the tunnel never used to exist either. There is still this little bit under the stairs, but you can't access it, and clearly there's no hole or ladder in the floor there. The layout of the locker room hasn't changed at all. I mean, it's a tiny room, there isn't exactly much to move around in there. But the hatch in the ceiling used to be in the southwest corner, whilst now it's in the northeast corner. There also never used to be a window in here actually, on the north wall. This now leads to the diving room alcove. And of course, at the end of the corridor, where the diving room entrance would be, it was then just a brick wall. Last thing to talk about down here is the breachable ceiling. In the original, pretty much the entire ceiling down here was actually breachable. That is still the case except for the corridor. Much less of the corridor ceiling is now breachable. It's pretty much only that bit on the south entrance. This basement on Old Kanal really brings back a lot of memories for me. I think this map was the first time I ever got an ace in Siege, with none other than Tachanka. That is old Tachanka, not the new one. Let's move upstairs now, and again the aesthetics just look so much nicer in Old Kanal here. This hallway actually changed a lot less than I thought it did originally. It also used to be called the Coast Guard hallway rather than the radio room hallway. We'll check out this north side of the hallway later though. Let's take a look at the south first. One thing I noticed straight away is that this wall that leads to reception here is no longer breachable. Also, there's a bit of wall that now sticks out next to the stairs to give you a bit more cover. This never used to be there in the original though. Going back to reception, this never actually used to be called reception in the original. It used to just be called the main entrance. I know I keep mentioning aesthetics, but oh my god, this looks so good in the original. Whereas now in the rework, it looks so boring. This window used to be barricaded up, but it's now a breachable window. And of course, the desk has changed position. The archives got a bit wider and more cover was added in here. There also used to be a window in here on the north side, but it's now gone. And the door to the Coast Guard meeting room used to be a single door, but now it's a double door. It also used to be called Coast Guard Office rather than Coast Guard Meeting Room. The most notable changes in here is the hatch and the floor being moved, the two windows now being boarded up, and this big interior window leading to the radio room now being gone and replaced by a brick wall. The radio room itself though hasn't really changed at all, other than that breachable wall leading to the holding room being gone. This whole room is now the radio room, and the holding room has just been wiped from existence. The holding room, or where the holding room used to be at least, has got a lot bigger. The breachable wall on the north side was removed, and a new one to the east next to the door was added, and the two windows were removed. There used to be iron bars in the wall here facing the outside door. These were really cool, but at the same time they were kind of annoying. They were removed as well, but they wouldn't really serve any purpose anymore because on the other side of them now are just those new stairs. If we go back out into the corridor, there were originally two windows leading outside on that east wall. Both of these had iron bars in front of them, so you couldn't just jump out or jump in. These were removed and replaced with a brick wall, because on the other side of this wall is now the lounge, instead of just outside. The lounge also existed in the Old Kanal, but it was originally much smaller. Because of the new dive-in alcove, that meant the lounge could be extended, so now this extra bit of lounge is right above that dive-in alcove. The hatch in the floor also moved in this room, and the leftmost window moved even more to the left. There's now a breachable wall on the north side, which leads to the new blue stairs area. This area, of course, never used to exist in Old Kanal, it used to just be outside. Then there also used to be an entrance leading outside on the north side of the building here, where there were stairs outside going up to the door. This entrance has been completely removed now, and it used to be roughly where the end of the radio room now lies. Let's talk about the bridges now, or should I say bridge, because this is the biggest change to this rework. In the original Kanal, there used to only be one bridge, which was on the first floor and connected the radio room hallway to the model room. But in the rework, a second bridge was added on the second floor, which connects the control room to the new printer room. And then the printer room connects to those blue stairs we mentioned previously. Clubhouse had the workshop added in the rework, which is what made it turn from a really unbalanced map to a very balanced map. And that's actually the case here with Kanal as well, with the upper bridge. Kanal was arguably the most unbalanced map in the game at one point, because of just this one lower bridge existing. Kanal is literally just two buildings connected by this one single bridge. Attackers this didn't really affect as much, but defenders it was terrible for, because you wouldn't really be able to go to the other building without risking the whole game because you can't get back to that building. Because attackers could literally just watch that bridge and that's it, game over, you're literally going nowhere. The accessible windows also did change on the lower bridge between both versions. There are still two openable windows on the north side, but the middle window isn't there anymore, and instead the left window is now open. As for the south side, only one window is open now, compared to the original where it was two. The right window isn't breachable anymore, and it's only the middle window remaining. The model room has the exact same layout between both versions, and again, looks nicer in the original, at least in my opinion. There did used to be two windows on that south wall though, but those aren't there anymore. The hatch in the ceiling of the security room did move slightly, but it's not too noticeable. And there also used to be a window on the west side of the security room, which is now blocked off. This smaller part of the security room was also more enclosed in the original as well. The east wall here never used to be breachable. And the door that leads from the security room to the maps room never used to be there, and used to be a breachable wall instead. I completely forgot that the security room and maps room were disconnected in the original. I always thought they were connected by a door, but I guess not. As for the map room, this used to be called the map's office rather than the map room. This map really did see a lot of room name changes, a lot more than the other maps. The map room did get split into two different rooms in this rework. You have the map room, and then you also have the new projector room, which is over the west side of the room. There's now a wall, window and door separating the two rooms, when originally this whole area was just open. Both windows in this area used to be open, but now the left one has been closed off in the rework. There also used to be a smaller room within the map room in the southeast corner called the map archives. This, of course, is just completely gone now though. I liked this little room. The breachable walls are all still in the same place though, although there did used to be one on that north wall as well that led into the corridor. And lastly, in the map room, this window in the northeast corner used to be breachable, but it's now boarded up. The kitchen is quite a lot different to how it used to be. Let's start off with the most obvious thing, which is that it's actually smaller now than it used to be. It used to stretch a lot more along the south, going past the map room, but now it's level with the map room. It used to be split into two different rooms, those being the kitchen and the cafeteria, whilst now it's just the kitchen. The two rooms were split by a door, but you could also climb over the kitchen counter as well, which was pretty cool. Quite a lot of the furniture has moved around. There were a lot more things in the middle of the room in the original, whilst not so much in the rework. The hatch in the ceiling used to be over the east side of the room, but now it's in the northwest corner, and both of the east windows are gone. Although this window that was in the cafeteria is now a breachable wall, which leads into the... Wait a second, what is this window? Like, why is this a thing? Why was this boarded up? Okay, whatever, that window stressed me out. Let's just move on to the corridor. Because the kitchen originally extended out a lot more to the south in the original, this main bit of the corridor where I'm standing right now was actually part of the cafeteria at the time. You can see here it bends around where the cafeteria is rather than just going straight forward. So that means where the door used to be for the cafeteria is now pretty much right here in the rework. So where this museum is now is actually where the main corridor used to be. You can see that with this outside window here as well, because this window hasn't changed location at all. Same goes with the door. Then if we go around the corner, you can see the outside door is right there. In the rework though, that door has moved a bit more to the east, and now there's the green stairs there instead, which never used to be a thing. If we head to the main stairs of this building, you'll see they have a lot of railings on rather than just brick walls on the sides. Same with the walls either side of the stairs. These railings are pretty much there on all of the stairs on this map actually, or they used to be. Now it's pretty much just brick walls everywhere, which is mostly actually the same with all of the reworked maps nowadays. It's kinda sad. Now we're heading up to the top floor. So the roof entrance, which was then known as the third floor exit, is basically exactly the same as it used to be. I mean, why wouldn't it be? It's the tiniest room possible on any map. There was a little drone hole here though in the north wall, which led to the radar room, or what was then known as the control room. The control room is still a thing in this rework, but the two rooms have been split up now. So you've got the radar room and the control room, rather than just the control room. Nothing has really changed in this room, other than the beautiful aesthetics being ruined, and the two windows being removed. You also have two breachable walls now, either side of this double door that leads to the second part of the room. Now if we move to the actual control room, this bit has changed a lot. I mean, this west window is still here and in the same place, and the hatch is still in the same place, but everything else has changed. All the equipment's moved, all of these beautiful windows on the north side are completely gone, replaced by these puny windows that you can't really look out of at all, and you of course now have the entrance to the upper bridge here. Not only that, but you also have a door here now that leads to the server room, rather than a breachable wall like it used to be. I definitely had mixed feelings on this room back in the day. I mean, it's pretty cool, but yeah, that's a lot of windows. A spawn peeker's dream, that's for sure. So where did the door to the server room actually used to be then? Well, it used to be in the radar room, or again, what was then known as the control room, but right on this breachable wall here, this door didn't lead straight to the server room though. Instead, there was actually a small hallway between both of the rooms, which was called the electric room. It was a very small room, with just two doors, one leading to the server room and one back to the control room. And then of course you had that breachable wall that led to the control room as well. The server room though is just completely unrecognisable to how it is now. It's larger now because of that electric room not existing anymore, and now there's breachable walls literally every single side in this room, except the north wall which leads outside still. This current wall on the east side is actually halfway through the original server room, because this outside wall where the extended corridor now is actually the same outside wall where the original server room outside wall was. This window on the east side is actually still in the same place as before. It's just in the corridor now rather than in the server room. Same goes with the two windows that were on the north side. Although these two are now blocked up. The left one is now in the middle of the server room, whilst the right one is actually in the corridor now. The door that leads to the corridor has also changed position, because it used to be on the south wall, as that was literally the only wall that led to the corridor. Now that door is gone and replaced by a breachable wall, and instead the door is now on the east wall. Then lastly, the hatch in the floor used to be in front of the door that leads to the corridor now, but now it's been moved to the northeast corner. This room is honestly the one that I remember the most from Old Kanal. I think it must have been a secure area or hostage location or something, because I just remember defending this room a lot. The corridor is overall exactly the same, other than it's stopping right after this window now, because the green stairs area of the corridor never used to exist. And now it's time to cover the roof. We already covered the east building roof earlier, so let's have a look at the west. Blue stairs and printer room never used to exist, so this whole room was just gone. The roof was definitely a lot more open in the original because of this. And it was a lot more dangerous considering there were so many more windows that defenders could spot you from. Then this window to the stairs never used to be bricked up in the original, so you had the door and the window. This made it even more dangerous to breach the wall into control room, and there's a lot less walls around the outside of the building now, just in case you're clumsy and fall off. I guess this roof is just fully noob proof now. Now let's take a look at the bomb objectives. And out of all the maps we've covered so far, these bomb objectives have definitely changed the most across both versions. First of all, there used to only be 3 bomb objectives in the original. All 3 of these bomb objectives are also terrible. So it's really no wonder why they reworked this map. The best one would definitely be server room and control room, which is the one that changed the least across both versions. The only difference is really being, well, the server room of course looking completely different, and the control room being all one room, meaning in the rework this would mean you can plant in all 3 of the control room, the radar room, and the renovations. Yes, that means you could literally just break that wall open and plant right there, directly on the other side of the wall. And this, I would say, is the best bomb objective by far. So that definitely says a lot about the other 2. Kitchen and projector room is a completely different objective to what we have now, the closest one being map room and security room. Projector room was just a small part of the maps room, so that means you can only plant in that one little room there. As for the kitchen, that again was split into 2, the kitchen and the cafeteria, so you could only plant on the north side of the kitchen. Kitchen isn't an objective anymore at all though in Bomb, it's now been moved to the security room. This Bomb objective was just terrible because of all the different windows and angles that attackers can get on the defenders and lines into sight, and just the fact that both objectives were just separated. Then the last one was Coast Guard office and holding room, which nowadays would be the Coast Guard meeting room and radio room. But instead nowadays it's the Coast Guard meeting room and the lounge. This one again was a terrible one because of all the different lines of sight into the sites. You had about 5 windows I think in there, and then loads of breachable walls and doors. It was just awful. I'm not sure which one of these 2 was actually the better one of the 2, but I feel like it would have been the Coast Guard to be honest. I mean this one looks better, but I don't remember anyone ever picking this room. I feel like people picked the kitchen more, but I'm not 100% about that. The last objective is kayaks and supply room, which in the original would have been boat garage and boat supplies, and this bomb objective didn't exist in the original. I'm not really sure why to be honest. I don't feel like this bomb objective would have exactly been unbalanced or unfair. I think it would have been a pretty cool objective, and it would mean we have 4 instead of 3, so that's already a positive. Then there's secure area and hostage, where all of the objectives are exactly the same across both versions, other than the room name changes of course. And that is it, Kanal is done. Overall, in terms of gameplay, this Kanal rework was definitely really good. As I said before, Kanal is one of my favourite maps in the game, probably my second favourite at the moment, which I know is a very unpopular opinion. Where previously, I liked Kanal sometimes, but yeah, it definitely wasn't great. However, the aesthetics really did get a downgrade in this new version in my opinion. The only thing I like really with the aesthetic changes is the outside colouring of the building. That's literally it. Other than that, everything else about the aesthetics is terrible. I mean, the whole ship being gone, that is awful. I mean, I still like the look of this map, it just doesn't compare to the original though. Even this thumbnail for the map was so nice. And I barely even remember seeing this night version of it as well. And of course, the night version looks really awesome as well. Maybe I should make a separate video series covering all of the maps at night, or at least the more interesting ones. Let me know what you think about that. Anyway, sorry this video took so long. I've been so busy recently, and I still am actually, so hopefully that doesn't delay the next video too much as well. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye!